do, let's welcome our characters today with a big round of applause. First we have the mother and her son, the boy. Woo! We also have the brave knight, St. George. Woo! We have Hilda Smith, Lady Wartface, and Sir Giles. Later on we're going to see the dragon and the father. So, gather round, get yourselves comfortable, and I'm going to tell you the story of the reluctant dragon. This story is... Oh, I forget one!
Don't worry.
Dragon, dragon, in the sky, look how high up it can fly, and if instead it should fly down, it will burn through a whole town.
The dragon's twisted, spiky tail can hit its target without foul. Its bulging eyes are blazing red, while smoke is puffing from its head.
Fire breathing in the night, what a frightening and terrible sight! With wings so strong and silent, it makes one dangerous tyrant!
Dragon, cruel and nasty beast, snarls and grinds its fearful teeth. If you should hear its high-pitched cry, be sure to say your last goodbye.
Men, women, children, and everyone in between, gather round, for I have a story to tell of dragons, sword fights, caves, and brave knights. You may have heard of the story of St. George and the dragon, but I bet you haven't heard the true version of how St. George came to meet the dragon. Well, this story is about a small boy who comes to meet a fire-breathing dragon for real. But not all is what it seems, for this is a rather different tale. So get yourself comfy, on the ground or on a bench, and put on your listening ears, for this is the story of a reluctant dragon. Long ago, in a cottage, between an English village and the edge of darkness, a farmer and his wife lived with their young son. The little boy, when he wasn't helping his father, spent his time sitting reading books, but he loved to read. His favourite books were fairy tales, especially when they had dragons and magical beasts in them.
What's today's story about then?
It's about a sword in a stone, which all the brave knights are trying to pull out. But they can't, because they are not the true king.
Oh, that sounds exciting, doesn't it? Have you done all of your chores? Your father will be home soon.
Yes, mother.
The boy's parents treated their son like an equal, for where they were very knowledgeable about working on the land, they weren't good at reading and writing, whereas the boy was, so they would all help each other out. But his mother would often worry about the boy not having many friends.
You don't have to worry about me, mother. I'm fine. I've got plenty of friends. I've got a brave knight, wizards, and beasts that can fly.
But they're not real.
But they're much better than all the other children my age in the village. They just want to run around and get into fights.
Just at that moment, his father flew open the door in such a panic, almost blowing out the fire.
I saw him! He was sticking his tail out of the gate just above in the downs.
Just you stop there now. You almost blew out the fire with all your commotion. And you're bringing in mud on my clean floor.
What was it, father? What did you see?
Why him? He was as big as 4 cart horses. When he breathed, he was also covered in shiny scales. When he breathed, there was a flick in his nostrils. And he had claws. He had great big claws. And he had a tail. That was for certain.
Ah. Don't worry, father. You only saw a dragon.
Oh, only a dragon? Only a dragon? What do you know about that?
Well, you know about things like the weather and farming, whereas I know about things like dragons, because I read about them in my books.
He's right, you know.
Don't worry. I'm going to go down and speak to him tomorrow.
Boy, I don't know about that. I don't think doesn't that sound like a good idea to me.
I think your father's right, you know. I don't want my boy getting roasted alive by your fire. dragon.
Oh, don't worry. I know exactly what I'm going to say to him.
A dragon indeed. For between you and I, the boy didn't quite believe that it was a dragon that his father had seen. He knew that his father often had a wild imagination, which wasn't a bad thing, because that's where he got his imagination from too. That very next day, he went up to see if he could find the dragon. True to his word, the boy marched. Oh, is that word? No. No. Okay. True to his word, the boy marched through the fields, up the chalky track that led to the summit of the town, and there, sure enough, he found the dragon. He was stretched out lazily by the entrance to the cave. He was just like his Twits had described. He had a big, strong, green, scaly body and a long tail, which twisted and turned, with a pointy end to it. His wings were closed, but the boy was sure that when they opened, they were huge and powerful. He couldn't help but notice that the dragon was purring loudly, just like a cat does when it's content and happy.
When we live, we learn. But I never remember reading in my books that dragons purred. Hello there. Dragon.
Don't you hit me, and jump on stones, and don't pour water or anything. I won't have it, I tell you.
I'm not going to hit you. And don't. Say the word don't. I hear it so often and it makes me tired and it's boring.
I feel quite the same way, but, it's just, people are always throwing stones at me and screaming in my face, and it's most unpleasant and quite frightening at times.
You can't be scared of them
Well,
because you're a dragon.
and? What does that have to do with it?
Well, dragons aren't supposed to be scared of anything.
Even dragons have feelings too, you know?
All right, fine. Look, I just came up here to see how you were and all that stuff, but if I'm in the way, I can simply clear up.
No.
Sorry.
Don't go off in a huff. The truth is, I'm not used to people wanting to talk to me or ask how I am. I don't have many friends. You see only my Aunt Bess, and she has a terrible sinus problem. Whenever she coughs or sneezes, she burns down everything in her path. It gets quite embarrassing.
Are you planning on staying here long, dragon?
Well, I'm not sure. It's a nice enough place, but the people aren't very friendly. They just scream in my face all the time, and it's a rather serious business settling down. And truth be told, I'm a rather lazy beggar.
Well, you surprise me.
Oh, it's the sad truth. All the other dragons are content to be on the rampage, scouring the desert sands, pacing the margins of the sea, chasing knights all over the place, even devouring the odd damsel in distress. Whereas I much prefer to have my meals regularly, and I'm partial to the odd piece of radish or carrot, because between you and I'm not that fond of meat. It's far too chewy, and it gets stuck in your teeth. And then I like to pop my head up against a rock and take a nap. But that's when it happened, and I was caught out.
When what happened?
I don't precisely know. I suppose the earth sneezed or shook itself, and then all of a sudden I was miles away, underground, wedged in tight as tight. And at first I was content because my mind was occupied, but eventually I decided to work my way up through the earth until I popped my head out here.
And what was your mind occupied with?
Do you ever, just for fun, make up poetry verses?
Well, of course I do. I've got plenty, and some are rather good, might I say. But I don't think many people in the village appreciate poetry. I speak some to my mother out loud, and she's very good because she listens, and so does my father, but, well, I guess I'm just a bit misunderstood.
Oh, me too. Oh, you've got culture. I could see that. I'd love it if you could give your opinions on some of my poems.
Well, I'm actually rather busy today, Dragon.
Oh, why? Wouldn't you like to come up here tomorrow night to have dinner? Oh, only if you don't have anything better to do.
I would love to, but I don't think my parents would approve.
Oh, well, why ever not?
Well, because there's no getting over the fact that you are a dragon. Because you're enemy of the human race.
Oh, I haven't an enemy in the world.
I really wish you would grasp the situation that you are a dragon. You're a horrible, evil pest.
No. There's not a word of truth in it. Look, listen to this
sense, but I'm just going to have to go home.
Oh no! And the boy left. The dragon gave out a big yawn and went back to sleep. It was quite easy for the boy to persuade his parents about going to dinner with the dragon, as they considered him to be an expert on such matters as dragons. Although his mother was a little less keen.
If we've misjudged the situation, then I think it's only fair that we should give the dragon a chance. And if the boy says he's not dangerous, then I'm inclined to believe him.
I don't doubt that it is right to give him a chance. I'll even bake a cake or make a stew. But there's not forgetting the fact that he is a dragon after all. We don't know who he is.
His mother made no objection though, just as long as he agreed to be home by 9 o'clock. And many pleasant nights they spent, sitting by the cave, reciting poems, and laughing and giggling.
To an upside down cake. Sweet little upside down cake. Cares and woes you've got 'em. Poor little upside down cake. Your top is on your bottom. Alas, little upside down cake, your worries never stop. Because, little upside down cake, your bottom is on your top.
Oh, I really love that one.
Oh, there's plenty more where that came from.
But sadly, not everyone was so convinced. The villagers weren't so happy to have a fire-breathing dragon living in their town.
He can't be trusted. That's what I say. I haven't been able to sleep properly since he arrived.
Oh, it sends shivers down my spine. I just thought of it being here.
Something must be done, I say. Something must be done.
I've heard that they can each throw a whole herd of cattle in seconds.
I
I don't want to allow this filthy beast to devour my prize cattle!
I've heard he's slain over 2,000 dragons.
I've heard what the other villagers cry. Dragon, dragon, in the sky. Look how high up it can fly. It should have instead fly down. It would surely burn through a whole town.
Dragon, dragon, with his twisting, spiky tail, can hit his target without foul. His bulging eyes are blazing red while smoke is puffing from his head.
Fire breathing in the night. What a frightening and terrible sight. With wings so strong and silent, it makes one dangerous tyrant.
Dragon, dragon, cruel and nasty beast, snarls and grinds and fearful teeth. If you should hear its high-pitched cry, you should hear its last goodbye.
Fire breather.
Noisemaker,
Earacher.
earmaker,
Bone breaker.
and high flyer,
Low swooper.
night hater.
It cannot be allowed to stay.
He must go at once.
Something must be done, I say. Something must be done.
Something must be done, I say. Something must be done.
Something must be done, I say. Something must be done.
Something must be done, I say. Something must be done.
Something must be done, I say. Something must be done. Something must be done, I say. Something must be done. Something must be done, I say. Something must be. I have heard of a brave knight who has helped save other villagers and towns from a similar problem.
Ooh, do tell us more.
They say that he is the bravest, the strongest, and that he has slayed many dragons before.
He sounds dashing. He sounds handsome. He sounds like the perfect husband. When can I bet him?
I shall send for him at once.
And so, Sir Giles sent for the brave knight, whose name was known throughout the land. He was no other than Sir George the Dragon Slayer.
Now listen up and listen good. I'm the bravest knight in the hood. I like to beat a wicked enemy by sticking to rules of chivalry.
Oh, he's a knight! He's a knight! His main aim is to fight!
I wear my armor nice and tight, for it protects me in a fight. I like to wave my sword in the air to give my enemies a nasty scare.
Oh, he's a knight! He's a knight! His main aim is to fight!
I love to save a damsel in distress, and this indeed I must confess. I ride my white horse across the land looking dashing and mighty grand.
Oh, he's a knight! He's a knight! His main aim is to fight!
I've even slayed a dragon or two and had a lucky escape from a few. I'm always on hand to save the day. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Oh, he's a knight! He's a knight! His main aim is to fight!
I chase ahead, never left nor right, and when I ride to war, I look a splendid sight. George is my name, and it's known afar, and after slaying dragons, I become the star.
Oh, he's a knight! He's a knight! His main aim is to fight!
St. George, I'd like to personally welcome you on behalf of the whole village. And say, we are grateful to you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to come and rescue us.
Very dashing. Isn't he handsome? I've heard he's the bravest knight from all around. Oh, I really must invite him for dinner. Not before I do. Beat it, Hilda. I'm the lady here.
Lady? Who are you kidding? He's mine!
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 Oh, ladies! You're going ahead of the story here. We need to get a move on with the business at hand.
Yes, you're quite right. Quite right indeed. You may proceed.
As I was saying, St. George, on behalf of the whole village, may I welcome you and say thank you for coming to rescue us.
How may I, the bravest knight in all the land, be of service?
Well, we have a little problem with the dragons.
I specialise in dealing with dragons, don't you know?
I heard he lives in a cave by the downs.
And how many has he killed?
None.
Then how many homes has he burnt to the ground? Cattle eaten, woodlands singed.
None.
Not even one.
No, but he could be dangerous.
Very well, I shall stay the night, and I'll go and see the dragon in the morning.
St. George was not completely convinced, but he was a brave knight and true to his word. Meanwhile, word had got to the boy about St. George and the villagers' plans, and he rushed to warn the dragon.
He's here! He's here! He's here!
Blooded waters, where's the fire? What's the noise? Who's here?
St. George, the Dragon Slayer.
What's that got to do with me?
He's come for you.
Well, I've got to put my best jacket and tie on, I've got to put the kettle on, I wonder if he likes fairy cakes?
He's not here to make friends, silly. He's here to slay you.
That's all right, but what? Slay me? Why? Heavens, why?
Because he's a Dragon Slayer. That's what he does, and you're sure to be next on his list.
Oh, well, I won't see him, and that's final.
Well, you're going to have to see him, because he's sure to be around, and he has the longest, wickedest spear that I have ever seen.
I don't want to meet the man at all. He's not nice. None of these knights are. All they think about all day is violence and fighting. It's not healthy.
Well, you're going to have to see him at some point.
Well, what if I refuse?
You can't, because that's how the story goes, okay? He's St. George, and you're the dragon.
Oh, that's easily solved. I'll no longer be known as the dragon then. I'll be a teapot. Or a bird? Or a quiet mole. Tell him I'm not a dragon, I'm a mole.
I can't tell him you're a mole.
I'll be a cow. Moo. Or a cat. Meow. Meow, meow. An owl.
not taking this very seriously, Dragon.
Listen here, young man. I do not fight. I will not fight. I have not fought in my life. And I'm not about to start now just so you can have a Roman holiday.
Well, if you don't fight, then he's going to chop your head off.
No, you've got to come up with something to get me out of this. Pretty please. I leave it entirely up to you.
And with that, the dragon flew into his cave to hide. Although, between you and I, with his tail sticking out at the end of the cave, it wasn't much of a hiding place. Feeling rather despondent about the dragon's reaction because he had hoped the dragon would fight. The boy went back home. He hardly touched his dinner and he was frightfully quiet. In fact, he was in such deep thought that he didn't even hear his parents coming into his room.
I don't understand. He's supposed to be a dragon. He's supposed to be a fighter. He's supposed to be big, strong, and fearless.
Maybe ease. Fighting doesn't always make you brave. In fact, some of the strongest and bravest creatures don't ever fight. Instead, they use words and actions, and they believe in peace.
Your mother's right. Take your grandfather, for example. He worked hit the land his whole life. He used to sleep next to the baby cows to comfort them when they were about to give birth. And he once saved a young horse from a fire. He used to wake up every morning at the crack of dawn, so when the sun rose, and just to put food on the table to feed his family, and he never ever complained. He was a strong man with a strong heart. He was my hero. He was my hero.
But this is a dragon with fire-breathing breath, long wings, and a tail. I mean, Grandad was just a farmer.
Not all dragons are the same, though. Just like you're not the same as the other children in the village. You like reading and writing.
And Edgar likes running around, and Henry likes to build tree houses.
Yeah.
And Anne, she likes baking cakes, and I like sewing and knitting. My pastime, I love to do.
And I love soaking my hairy feet in a bucket of warm water whilst I smoke my pipe. Yeah, we're all different.
That's what makes us special. We're all brave in our own way.
Well, the dragon is rather good at poetry, but do not tell him I told you that.
But he makes you laugh.
He seems to be a good friend.
And so, that very moment, the boy came up with a plan. He decided to go and see St. George.
Excuse me, St. George. Might I come in to discuss a rather matter about a dragon?
Do come in, my boy. Do you have a tale to tell of misery and wrong to tell?
Not exactly, actually. Quite the opposite. You see, this is a good dragon.
Oh, I'm sure he's an excellent fighter. And I'm sure he has the strength of power typical of his tribe.
That's the misunderstanding. He's not horrible at all. Actually, I've been spending some time with him, drinking tea and writing poetry, and once you get to know this dragon, you simply can't not like him. He is a good dragon, I tell you.
A good dragon? A good dragon? I've never heard of such a thing.
None of us is
But then, oh yes, sir. You see, none of us are the same, though, are we? Take you and me, for example. You are a brave knight that travels across the land, fighting and saving towns and villages from distress, where I am just a simple farmer's boy who works the land and reads poetry. We're both human, but not the same.
That's very true. And I do like a fellow who sticks by his friends. But I've been sitting here all night listening to the villagers, and they've been talking about the murder and the horror and the betrayal. And therefore I must insist that this dragon of yours must be slayed.
Oh, but St. George don't understand. These villagers are the biggest storytellers in all the land. Once you get to know this dragon, you simply can't not like him. And all he wants is to be liked and have friends.
Well, maybe I have misjudged the animal. But what can I do? I'm supposed to fight him and I don't see any other way out of it.
Well, I guess you can't persuade him to go away quietly.
Impossible! That's against the rules. Besides, that's not how the story's supposed to go.
Well, how about I bring you to the dragon, and you can talk to him?
It does seem rather unusual, but it does seem like the most sensible thing to do. Cheer up, lad. Perhaps there won't need to be a fight after all.
So, the next day, St. George and the boy went along to meet with the dragon.
Hello, dragon. I have brought someone for you to meet. This is St. George.
Lovely to meet you, St. George. Charming weather we're having, isn't it?
Listen, dragon, I think we need to come to some sort of understanding about this little matter.
I quite agree. Tea, fairy cakes?
No. Don't you think it'd be better if we just fight this out?
And what would that actually achieve? One of us would surely die! And for what? Just a whole load of unnecessary effort, and we're not even enemies. If you won, everyone would still think I was a brute, and you just have slayed another dragon, whereas if I won, I would be even more misunderstood, and everyone would hate me more. Surely, we have the chance to show them that there's another way.
I mean, you might have a point.
See? I told you he's different.
And besides, you can't make me fight.
But what if I make you?
I would still refuse, and then everyone would see St. George slay a dragon that refuses to fight, and how would that look?
Everyone would think that you're just a bully.
But all of the villagers and all of the children, they're expecting a fight.
Well, how about St. George stabs you somewhere that doesn't hurt?
Like pretend to wound me.
Exactly. That to be a good dragon. He'll come back to the villagers and tell them that he's persuaded you to be a good dragon and protect them. Then St. George will still be a hero.
I mean, it could work. It wouldn't hurt you if I stabbed you here.
You're tickling me, George. Are you sure it wouldn't hurt?
I swear.
Well, I suppose we have to trust someone as we go through life, and this plan does seem like a good one.
But remember, you have to do your bit. And breathe lots and lots of fire and be really, really scary.
Oh, I can do that. Watch.
That's pathetic.
Is that the best you can do?
Don't knock it. Look, I will practice before tomorrow, but I need to get some beauty sleep before tomorrow's fight.
Roll up. Come and see the almighty battle between the great beast and the brave, strong knight that is St. George. Watch the fire-breathing monster take on the sword-swashing fighter in one final battle. So gather round, ye children, mothers, fathers, grannies with hairy chins, and granddads with tiny spectacles, and all you other grown-ups.
You sure the dragon will be here? I can hardly bear to walk. Why don't you go home then? Oh no, I'm here to support St. George. He's expecting me to cheer him on. Now he
George appeared, and the crowd went wild.
Oh, he's our knight, he's our knight, his main aim is to fight. He's our knight, he's our knight, his main aim is to fight.
Are you sure he's going to be here?
He promised that he would come.
Look, there he is. He's huge.
He looks scarier than I
Oh
thought.
my gosh.
I think I just popped wind and a bit of poo just came out.
What? That is
Really?
Oh.
Really?
Sorry, my bad.
The dragon suddenly flew over their heads and around the crowd of villagers. They gasped!
Gasped!
They gulped!
Gulped!
It breathed fire in the air!
Well, you can't do that because of health and safety.
That's true, very true.
Okay, just imagine that bit then. He came to a thud on the ground in front of the
Thud!
Thud!
I'm the fire-breathing dragon, and I've come to fight St. George, so where is he?
The villagers erupted again.
Oh, he's our knight, he's our knight, his main aim is to fight. He's our knight, he's our knight, his main aim is to fight.
I'm here.
Oh!
Now prepare to fight.
Can't wait to watch!
Tell me when it's over!
Let the battle commence. And they were off. The crowd fell silent as the brave, strong knight was...
Giles, yeah, thanks. I'll take it from here. But the brave knight was quick to judge it and dodged the fire just in time. He quickly rose to his feet and leapt forward, swinging his sword in front of the dragon. The two struggled together, fists and claws being thrown in the air. The dragon slaps the brave St. George, and the crowd booed. But just then, St. George returns with a punch on the end of the dragon's nose. Both continue to fight bravely. This is sure to be an exciting fight to the death. Suddenly, George jumps onto the dragon as he tries to stop him from showering the crowd with yet more flames. The crowd gasped in fear.
Gasp!
The dragon moaned aloud. We can barely look. Our hearts pound in fear of what is going to happen next. Just then, the dragon gives an almighty twist.
Twist!
A violent turn.
Turn!
And St. George is thrown to the ground. The crowd goes silent as the dragon creeps towards the brave knight.
And now, St. George, prepare to die!
Never!
I'm hit! I'm hurt! Ouch, ouch, ouch!
The dragon drops to the floor.
Ow! 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 I've been stabbed! Ow! Ow!
The dragon
Ouch,
drops to the
ouch,
floor.
I'm slain!
St. George!
St. George has done it.
He's our knight, he's our knight, his main aim is to fight. He's our knight, he's our knight, his main aim is to fight.
The dragon was quickly tied up and put onto a cart and ridden away. The villagers all breathed a sigh of relief. But we all know that this version of the story does not end here, because remember that this was just a plan. Once outside the village, the dragon was set free again, completely unharmed. St. George returned back to the village and declared that he had spoken to and persuaded the dragon that he should change his ways and be a good dragon, and that with the villagers' permission should return to protect and look after the village from now on.
Yes.
He also told them that they shouldn't be so fond of fighting, because next time they may have to do it for themselves.
That sounds like a rather splendid idea.
In fact, the idea went down better than expected, as the villagers soon realised that having a dragon around had many benefits.
Well, he does make such wonderful fairy cakes.
He just flew over and fixed the roof on my tower.
And his fire comes in handy when lighting our street lamps.
And he does help me lift heavy machinery.
And it tells such
poetry.
But, best of all, he's the bestest friend that anyone could ask for.
And so the villagers were not afraid anymore, and the dragon wasn't lonely anymore, and had found a new place to call his home, and they all lived happily ever after.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
3 cheers for the dragon. Hip hip!
Hooray!
Hip hip!